Mr Morrison, the Governor-General has handed you your commission as Prime Minister for the coming season of the Australian Government.
Oh, I had nothing to do with it. I was as surprised as you were. I was as loyal to Malcolm as you were. Anyway, how am I supposed to put on an Australian Government this season? Oh, I'd rather play rugby league.
I expected more from you. I thought you'd be happy.
Happy? Oh, I've been put through such horrors before coming to this job. I prayed for the refugees and then I prayed for the budget. I am sick and tired of the intrigues and jealousies that plague Australian Government. I repeat, I am going to play rugby league.
Don't I know how you feel? I too have known disappointment. But if you would only let me choose a few key ministers, I would gladly shoulder all of your burdens.
Oh, Abbott, you're a good bloke. But we've both been through this before. If I were to let you pick a single minister, the public would butcher us. Besides, I believe I have in mind a season of mediocre government that, Menzies be praised, requires no functioning ministers.
But the Governor-General has decreed that we must have an Australian government.
Oh, Australian government, ridiculous, outdated idea.
How can you say such a thing, Prime Minister?
Australian government requires far too much effort, policies even.
That may have been the case 30 years ago, but today's Australian government can be done easily. No policies needed at all.
Oh, and what about all the members of Parliament that Australian government requires?
The up-to-date Prime Minister engages with only three kinds. There's the right-wing fallen star, whose views have shrunk with their intellect. Certain members of the public are all too willing to listen to the right-wing star.
That is one kind.
Then some beginner lefties whose obvious newness will be to your credit, since you will be giving the human side a chance. You pay them nothing, they do it on principle.
And the third kind, I suppose they just have politics.
Naturally. These are the ones more blessed with the politics of this world than with policies or principles.
So that the right wing of my fallen stars and the left wing of my beginners will deliver me an Australian government? No principles required at all?
Absolutely. And you never know. One of them may come up with a policy.
Abbott, what kind of an Australian government could one come up with such MPs?
The very best. One driven by rivalry, disloyalty and distasteful antics.
But what of the Australian people?
Simple. Just tell them you had nothing to do with putting it together, that the rivalry, disloyalty and distasteful antics have ended.
Oh, a splendid way to do it.
To highlight how good your government is, you start out with rivalry, disloyalty and distasteful antics, and then you promise to turn it all around.
Oh, that does eliminate the need to change the habits of a lifetime of governing.
Yes. And to intensify the mood that you are the very best Australian government, you will use very little truth. This is actually very popular with many governments around the world, and you save time implementing actual transparency measures. So, ScoMo, what do you say to this?
I say it is deeply distasteful to everything I have ever believed in and fought for in the Parliament. Decidedly, I prefer to be a footy player than to take part in such an utter degradation of democracy.
Prime Minister, transparency and democracy are just words forever on the lips of those too afraid to grasp real power.
Oh. Are you seriously suggesting that I should stoop to sell out for success?
Is there any other way? Oh, Prime Minister, if you had seen what I had to go through to form government, you would know that you can only afford to list transparency and truth as your government's list of duties by first and foremost getting into power.
Oh, Abbott, You yourself do not believe half the things you say. If you were an ounce the soulless rascal you claim to be, I would suggest you forget the backbench and take over my position. Though not my name.
Thank you, Prime Minister, but I'm really a Christian soul at heart and could serve you best in my current role.
Yes. Oh, well, cheer up, Abbott. It doesn't make a lick of difference what either of us think. You know, we barely have enough support at this point to form a ministry, let alone a government, no matter what the Governor-General believes.
I know that things look very dark, but there is a new dawn just outside. Mr. Dutton has been waiting to see you this past quarter of an hour.
Dutton? The wealthy potato grower? That power-mad haunter of refugees' dreams? What does he want?
I can well imagine. He was at the Governor-General's when your commission was issued, and he came over to see you at once. I'll show him in. But please, Prime Minister, don't be too hasty.
My dear Prime Minister, Australia is indeed fortunate in its choice of Prime Minister. I rather envy you, you know.
Oh, I'm not sure why you should, but thank you all the same.
Because it happens, I need your help. And if I were you, I would simply help myself. Ha! Ha!
Oh, what can I do for you, Mr. Dutton?
Quite a lot, Mr. Morrison, quite a lot. Between men of the world and of politics, such as ourselves, preliminaries are a waste of time, so I'll come to the point.
Prime Minister, Mr. Dutton is coming to the point.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Abbott. Do continue, Mr. Dutton.
You are probably aware that for some time I have maintained a close relationship with one of politics' shallowest, Senator Hanson.
The Senator Hanson? Oh, such politicians are not to be heard of anymore. Truly magnificent. I remember her debut in Parliament 20 years ago. She recently retired, I believe.
Yes, and no, if you take my meaning, she still sits in the Parliament, and I had hoped that offering her some type of policy, that she would be tempted back to the negotiating table. She longs for the spotlight again.
I see. And she would be a part, even in a minor key, of your Australian government?
Mr. Morrison, it is a pleasure to converse with such a perceptive man. You should have been in business, tourism, marketing perhaps. To be candid, my life with Senator Hanson will not be worth living unless you engage her. It would be worth a great deal to me, I can assure you.
The truth is, the problems are of policy.
What the Prime Minister means, Mr. Dutton, is that the Australian government policies to which Senator Hanson would naturally agree to are beyond even you.
But I said it would be worth a great deal to me, my continued support for your government with a policy here and there. Mr. Morrison, the Senator realises it must be some time since you have heard her and that malicious tongues are never idle. So, she is prepared to audition for you and is, in fact, waiting in her office. I will go and fetch her.
My circumstances couldn't possibly allow for such a...
What the Prime Minister means, Mr. Dutton, is that this room is hardly suitable acoustically for a politician of Senator Hanson's exceptional vocal power. Still, if the Senator was only willing to overlook this inconvenience, I'm sure the Prime Minister would be happy to hear her and renew their previous friendship.
Oh! Never in my life have I stooped to sell policies for success. Are you insane? Oh.
Please don't be angry, Prime Minister. I only want the Australian government that we've both worked so hard for. One policy will give you Senator Hanson's support, which will allow you to develop other policies that no one wants to hear about. Why, I'd eat this onion if her support was not forthcoming.
But my principles, my ideals, my reputation. Oh, just let me go play rugby league.
No, you'd only collide with her on the stairs. No, Prime Minister. It is the purpose to which power is put, not the way it is obtained which is important. Our church is not built on lies.
Perhaps, but not all sinners are politicians.
Naughty. Naughty. Naughty boy. I know you've been at play for at least 6 months for Prime Minister, and you never came to call.
Oh, my apologies, Senator.
My dear, you must not hold it against our good friend the Prime Minister, who had been incredibly busy arranging all the conflicting details of a political coup.
What Mr. Dutton means, Senator, is that the Prime Minister has been on the point of contacting you at least 100 times. Why, only yesterday he was saying, wonder if we could count on you to support our government.
I'm sure he was. We've always been such friends. And who are you, may I ask?
Oh, Senator, allow me to introduce my assistant and colleague of many years, Mr. Abbott.
Your assistant and colleague? Why, he looks like he's eaten an onion. I think you once tried to have me jailed.
Thank you, Senator. Surely we can afford to put the past behind us.
But of course, that's done. Now, Prime Minister, although I'm making an absolute fortune hunting cane toads, I will sing for you. I want you to hear how my voice has developed in the xenophobe register, without losing any of those other views for which my voice is so famous.
Oh, Senator, I couldn't possibly ask a politician of your calibre to support my
Oh,
government.
nonsense, I insist. Oh, just make yourselves comfortable and I'm sure you will be amazed.